Dean members from ministries and agencies from all over Europe, dear colleagues and friends in global learning, dear ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and for us it is a great pleasure and honor to welcome you to this GEAN Global Education Award ceremony, which focuses on quality and good practice in global education across Europe. In these months, we see that global learning and global education are more urgent than ever. Without global solidarity and medical care, the COVID-19 pandemic will not end. Without an understanding of global processes and without global solidarity, we will not be able to meet the common challenges of climate change, a challenge we are only just beginning really to understand in its deep consequences. Migration, plastic pollutions of sea, the waste in the global north and poverty in the south, senseless wars and many other challenges underlie the urgent need for more and for better global education. Global social justice has two dimensions. It considers the living situations of those who suffer from living conditions that they can only partially influence, being in the global south or at other places. So global solidarity has a spatial dimension. Global solidarity must equally embrace the younger generation whose living conditions are significantly shaped by the decisions made today. So global solidarity, therefore, has as well a temporal dimension. Global learning thus means learning to see the world through the eyes of distant people, those not yet born and those not living with me in vicinity, and to rethink today's decisions from their perspectives. How this solidarity can be learned is the focus of today's event. It is about learning arrangements that allow people to learn global solidarity in such a way that they become capable of acting globally and locally, so acting locally, and taking global responsibilities and consider the distant others in their actions. These kind of learning requires a high degree of pedagogical professionalism, didactic competences and creativity, and forms of empowerment. All these entries to the award showed a great variety of possible approaches and a high level commitment. This is a very encouraging sign. We hope that with the award, global ideas in global learning are becoming visible and encourage others to embark on the path of global learning. And that this may motivate to join in and to inspire for the change of perspective with regard to global social justice. For this year's award, ministries and agencies were each able to submit per country. So the nomination per se is a distinction. These projects are nationally visible, they present national innovation, and they have a reach that gives them trans-regional significance. So congratulations already to all nominees. And we thank, as GEAN, the Ministries for Foreign Affairs and Development Cooperation, as well the Ministries for Education, for their commitment in selecting from the plethora of projects in the countries those who stand for special quality.
Jean, Chairperson, Executive Director, Vice Rector, Dean, Professors, Directors, Presidents, Lead Experts, representatives of European ministries and agencies, representatives of the award organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a true pleasure and honor to be here with you today for the Global Education Award on Quality and Good Practice across Europe. First of all, I would like to very warmly congratulate the Global Education Network Europe for nominating organizations truly inspiring initiatives and educational programs, for recognizing good best practices across Europe. I truly believe that by bringing us closer, Jean acts as an accelerator for more initiatives. Basically, Jean acts as an accelerator for change. And I firmly believe that we can all learn from each other. The second message today is a message of congratulations to all awarded initiatives for their success. Initiatives coming from Austria, Belgium, Cyprus, Finland, Ireland, Poland, and Greece. Congratulations for their dedication towards building a better future, investing in the next generation's knowledge and cultivation of skills. This work is exceptional, and today's recognition, in my opinion, seals your honor and responsibility to continue tirelessly efforts towards providing the youth with more and better qualifications for a constantly changing world. Just a few words on Greece's initiative, although the president of the Greek Institute of Education Policy will present thoroughly our nomination. As of September 2020, Greece introduced a new skills-based program into the compulsory weekly timetables of preschool, primary, and lower secondary schools in Greece. The idea is to focus on the cultivation of skills through the 4 C's: critical thinking, communication, collaboration, creativity, through thematics such as volunteering, human rights, sex education, entrepreneurship, and others. In a nutshell, the objective is for our children to learn, but also to learn how to learn. With these thoughts, thank you once again for having us today, and all the best to Jean for this fantastic organization. Thanks a lot.
Are we global citizens in their full rights and responsibilities? Are we aware of it? Are we even prepared to think global citizenship, what it implies, what impact it has on our lives now and in future? Having been skimming the news this morning, I'm tempted to answer this question with no, we're not. But then again, we are here, and I'm very proud and thankful that one of our programs in continuing education has been nominated for this year's Jean Awards. The master program, Global Citizenship Education 3, perfectly fits to University of Klagenfurt's mission. Being located in the Alps-Adriatic region in the southernmost part of Austria, very close to Slovenia and Italy, our guiding principle is overcoming border boundaries. For that, we have been taking advantage of the historic location at the intersection of 3 cultures. Among our approximately 12,000 students, 20% are from abroad. They bring their experience to Klagenfurt and into our programs. They enable us to constantly move on, to bring together research, teaching, learning, and society. Shifting the boundaries, sweeping them aside, is exactly what Global Citizenship Education 3 does. Among our 44 programs in continuing education, the GCE is one of the most successful, and maybe also one of the most challenging for students as well as for teachers. Dealing with the big issues of our time, from the pandemic to peace, from climate change to migration, and so on, it is a challenge in itself. Trying to create awareness, to show people that there are ways of thinking, of acting, and of behaving that can actually make a difference, that have positive impact on global developments on the earth. That is the real challenge. And yes, as a university program in continuing education, this is not mainstream. It is complex and to some extent still somewhat utopian. So being nominated for the Gene Awards is wonderful. It shows that we must be doing something right. And it is an obligation to go on shifting boundaries, sweeping boundaries away. In behalf of the Rectorate of the University of Klagenfurt, I'd like to express my gratitude to all parties and people involved in the nomination of our Global Citizenship Education Program for the Gene Awards 2021. It is an honor. A special thanks goes to our long-term partners, the NGO Comment and the University College for Teacher Training Carinthia. Last but not least, I want to thank Werner Wintersteiner, Hans-Karl Peterlini and Jasmin Donlich for developing the program and guiding it through stormy weathers into a hopefully bright future. Ad multos annos per aspera ad astra. Thank you very much.
I'd just like to say that this kind of recognition and this kind of sense of appreciation for your work that warms our hearts and has only strengthened our resolve to double down on our efforts in working for global education and more specifically for sexual and reproductive health and rights and gender equality, which is the central topic that our Change project focuses on. And I'd just like to take some time and tell you what the Change project is about and what we do in the project, what we hope to achieve, and what its formula is. Actually, its formula is quite classic, but innovative in a few very significant ways. It's actually a small-scale exchange program in which a small number of students can undertake a research trip to countries in the global south where they visit organizations and activists that are active in the field of sexual health and reproductive rights. And they visit and meet with these organizations and activists. And it's not just a study trip. They just, during this trip, they determine a common topic on which they campaign afterwards when they are back in Belgium. And this is kind of where the innovative part of the project lies for us, because they go to countries in the global south in order to learn how to campaign and advocate on these types of issues, on sexual, reproductive health and rights issues. And that's, for us, has been the innovative part because it kind of changes the narrative of international collaboration. Generally, we think of people from the West going to the global South and teaching them how to campaign and how to develop and so forth. And we do it the other way around. And we have established and learned that we can learn so much from these organizations. And they have way more experience in campaigning on some of these issues. And they have a way more in-depth perception of the underlying problem of these issues. And so that is one way in which it really is innovative. Some of the topics that have been campaigned on in the past are, for example, menstruation poverty, so access to feminine hygiene projects, rights for sex workers, and so on and so on. But another way in which it really contributes to global education is that it, for the students that participate in the project, it really creates some kind of global awareness, because they learn on these problems and these issues while they are in countries in the global south. And when they return to their home location, these issues, they perceive these in a different way. And that creates the awareness that these are global problems. And it creates the awareness that tackling these global issues requires a joint global effort. So that's kind of, in short, to sum it up. I'd like to take the last few moments that I have to thank, first and foremost, my colleagues and the students that we work with, because they're the ones that have deserved this award, along with all the activists and organizations that we have worked with in global South countries. And of course, a word of thanks also goes out to our financial backers and our funders, of course, because they are the ones that allow us to conduct this project. And this is the Flanders Ministry for Foreign Affairs, the Brussels International Agency, the Union for Humanist Organizations, and I would like to, of course, especially also thank the Free University of Brussels, which continues to support us every day. Thank you very much.
I'm the director of the Association for Historical Dialogue and Research and the coordinator of the Imagine project, which is an intercommunal project bringing together students and teachers from across the existing divide in Cyprus. This means Greek Cypriots, Turkish Cypriots, and students and teachers of other communities residing on the island. It is a very proud moment for us, especially during these difficult times when conduct is restricted because of the closing of checkpoints and the measures related to the pandemic. So what is Imagine? Imagine is a project that started back in 2017 as a confidence building measure between the two communities in Cyprus. It is actually part of the negotiation process. It is supported by the two leaders of the communities, and it is implemented by us, the AHDR, and the Home for Cooperation. It is under the auspices of the Bicommunal Technical Committee on Education, and it is funded by the Federal Foreign Office of the Republic of Germany. It has the support of the United Nations in Cyprus, and it managed to bring together, to this day, more than 5,000 students and 1,000 teachers from across the divide in Cyprus. How Imagine works. We follow a step-by-step approach of engaging our stakeholders. First, we go to student schools. We train them monocommunally on issues related to global education, anti-racism, peace education, and then we bring them together here at the Home for Cooperation in the buffer zone and engage them either in workshops or sports activities. And then the ones who are interested in furthering their education on anti-racism engage in bicommunal walks across the divide in Nicosia or elsewhere, and the teachers engage in teacher training following the same model, first monocommunally and then bicommunally. And we saw that by reaching out to the two communities separately first helps us reach out to the non-converted and bring more people together. So what we learned out of our experience is that by knocking on the doors of people who are not traditionally or positively inclined towards reconciliation is the way forward. And also connecting issues of local peace building with issues of at the global level, learning from the example of others and always connecting our experience to the experience of other conflict or post-conflict societies. This has helped us throughout the years, and especially it has helped the two communities feel that the reconciliation process in Cyprus cannot be seen in isolation with global issues. This is one of the biggest lessons. So also I would like to thank Jean for giving us this precious award. It was definitely a boost for us. It was a huge opportunity also to reconnect with our students and teachers during this pandemic period. In order to produce our video, we had to go out to our teachers, reconnect with them, so it has been amazing. Last thing I would like to say is that unless we teach our children, our teachers, our youth about peace, someone else will teach them about violence. So we have to grasp every opportunity in order to bring people together, especially in difficult contexts like ours. Thank you very much.
Our organization, Peace Education Institute, is honored and delighted to be one of the awarded organizations. But we, as I think we all do, acknowledge that we are only one nominated representative in our field, and we owe a lot to our educational colleagues and partners in Finland, in Europe, and globally. Yet, we highly appreciate this recognition, and we want to thank the Finnish National Agency for Education and the Ministry for Foreign Affairs for the long-term support of our work and for nominating our initiative entitled Phenomenal Agenda, Global Learning for Sense of Belonging, as for the quality and good global education practice within the Global Education Award 2020-2021. We also want to thank the GEAN representatives and jury for their decision. We are proud of what we do, and as said, we are honored, we are humble, and happy to receive this award. Our organization was established officially 40 years ago this coming Friday. So there is another reason for celebrations. In a sense, Peace Education Institute has followed what we now know as the global education, global citizenship education, or global education and learning, has transformed into its current form and conceptualization. When we were established, it was more common to talk about peace education or human rights education. And then after, the concepts of development education or education for sustainable development have been used, as are also the concepts of multicultural or intercultural education. If peace education and international education were earlier perceived as foreign umbrella concepts which embed global issues and topics, nowadays it is more common to understand global education as the main framework under which several sub-concepts and approaches belong to. I personally do think that concepts and terminology that we choose to use matter. I think they matter a lot. And at the same time, I do think that regardless of the selected concepts and mainstream lexicon, what matters is what we aim at doing and achieving. And I think what is common for us as educationalists, whether peace, human rights, development, or global educationalists, you may choose the label you prefer, is simply to build a world that is understandable and socially just. Within our phenomenal agenda, Global Learning for Sense of Belonging initiative, we wish to develop participatory whole school initiatives in Finland, Portugal, and Romania. By bringing together the core themes of pedagogical leadership, co-teaching, mentoring, global education and learning, and Agenda 2030 and the SDGs. We are at the initial phase with our European colleagues, and in Finland a pilot program is already running. Our project brings together research and higher education institutes, civil society organizations, local municipalities, schools, principals, teachers, and students. And I think what is characteristic to our project personnel is that we are all very excited about it. I think we believe that we're creating something unique and we can achieve something really, exciting that may potentially make a difference within and beyond the school environments in which we operate in the 3 countries. Therefore, I want to thank our counterparts in Finland and in the partner countries already now. And I also want to thank and acknowledge the work of my colleagues within the Peace Education Institute. Some of them are here online with me, and I know the rest of the working community is here with us in spirit. Later, we will have a proper and big celebration by ourselves, with our partners and collaborators in Finland and with our colleagues in Europe. There's a lot to celebrate in our 40 years of history, but also in our current work on global education and responsibility. Thank you very much.
Dear all, we're extremely honored to be receiving such recognition for our initiatives in the educational field. We sincerely thank you for the GEAN Global Education Award you have given us for the 21st Century Skill Labs, implemented by the Institute of Education Policy in collaboration with the Greek Ministry of Education. This initiative is focused on change and aspires to bring about a paradigm shift in education. It is a kind of education that wants to bring in the classroom all the issues and goals of our era. Since it is agent-focused, it promotes active participation of all involved, students, teachers, school units, and the local community, while it can also extend beyond them. In particular, 21st Century Skill Labs involved the development of a digital tool named Platform 21 as an open source repository, a space for teacher collaboration and exchange and good practice. Educational material and activities are uploaded on the platform, organized in 4 thematic pillars: well-being, environment, social empathy, creative thinking, and innovation. Educational programs including competitions, workshops, presentations, and educational interventions on topics varying from human and children's right to education in democracy and contemporary social issues such as the refugee and immigrant global influx, the depletion of our natural resources, and the need for sustainable development. Overall, 21st Century Skill Labs aim at promoting children's rights and defending the right of vulnerable social groups, promoting democracy in schools, equity, social cohesion, inclusion, and active citizenship, raising awareness in relation to social contribution and volunteering, enhancing public and individual mental and physical health as well as well-being, raising awareness of young people to global problems, environment, economy, health, human rights, and prioritizing the development of skills to solve them, connecting with school social context, and strengthening the acceptance of common principles, that is non-violent conflict resolution, non-violent language and behavior, promoting respect for diversity as well as cultural diversity. I want to thank you once again for the honor and for recognizing work done all around Europe for the promotion of global education. Thank you.
So we're part of the National Network for Development Education in Ireland, and we're really pleased and grateful to Jean to accept this award on behalf of our network. We're an association of about 70, 80 actors in development education in Ireland, and our membership began the process to develop this project, the Code of Good Practice for Development Education, 5 years ago. So as some of the other awardees have mentioned, it's a wonderful acknowledgement and recognition of good work and good quality work in this area, and has given our members a huge boost to know that this is recognised internationally. So I'll tell you a little bit about the code before I pass to Frank. So firstly, while it is a code for development education in Ireland, our members do use different terms such as global education, global citizenship education, ESD, and so on. Once those educational practices are aligned with SDG target 4.7, we see them as covered by our Code of Good Practice. And last year was the first year of the rollout of the code, and about 25% of our membership joined the code then. And this year that has increased to about 45%. So we've seen, I suppose, that despite the huge disruptions posed by COVID-19 last year and which continue this year, we've had a successful rollout of the code to date. And we believe that underscores the strong commitment to an ownership of the code from our association. The code itself is a voluntary self-assessment framework. It has 12 principles which cover educational and then also organizational practices. And it's really a self-reflection tool which helps you to articulate strengths, build on good practice, and also address any gaps and challenges through an action plan. And once the self-assessment process has been completed for the first time, our members are then invited to undertake that process annually. Our members come from international development NGOs, civil society organisations, educational institutions, environmental organisations, and also individual practitioners. And it's applicable across the wide range of contexts that they work in, including formal education, but also adult and community groups, youth settings, and so on. The code and the supporting documents are designed to be living tools that will evolve and be refined through our members' use and their feedback on their experience of using them. And we want to thank everyone. Some of our members are here today and also our colleagues who contributed to the development of the code and are now bringing it to life in their daily work. And I'll hand over to Frank. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Elaine. And thanks to everybody who's involved. So we're also looking at where next for the code. So as well as developing the work with members that Elaine has described, we'd really love to share the code with the global education community in Europe and internationally. When the code was launched at the end of 2019, we discovered that it was a trailblazer internationally and certainly the first of its kind in Ireland. And we really believe that it can be adapted in national and European contexts. So we would love to explore with all of you how we might do this together. So thank you to Jean and to the judges for this award and for the recognition of the code and its impact. It's hugely, hugely appreciated and it's a great honour. Thanks to all our members who've taken part in the development of the code. Thanks to our donors who've supported the code, so Irish Aid, Trócaire and Concern. And just to note that our strategic partnership with Irish Aid really enabled us the time and space to develop this code. And in particular, to thank Irish Aid for nominating us for this wonderful award. And thank you to the brilliant team who've taken this code from an idea to a living reality. So to Elaine, my colleague here, Marina O'Neill, who've had much support from advisory groups and all of the IDEA staff. And I wanted to particularly thank Elaine, who's led and guided this code through every step of the way, providing leadership and making sure that it supports and challenges everybody on the code journey. The code is all about learning and striving for a better world. And we are hugely grateful to Jean for this award. And we look forward to learning with you all and creating a better future together. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. I would like to say that in HumanDoc, we believe that we are responsible to create our identity. But I mean global identity, and which is also connect with the local identity, because everything what we do, every chosen what we made, it's connected with not only our environment, but also spread on the even whole world. So this is the reason why we are proud and appreciate that you are let us and help us to spread our ideas, the global ideas, because it's necessary to build the society, to build the knowledge, and to build the conscience of the citizens. So thank you very much, and thank you for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs from Poland to help us to build this idea and spread it in the actually whole world.
Hello, we are extremely gratified for the award. It's a great honor and privilege to find ourselves in such excellent company. We are proud that our activities related to global education have been appreciated. I hope that in the future our graduates in global studies will contribute to make our world greener, more equal and more sustainable place. Thank you very much.
So, thank you very much.
Let me tell you just briefly about the history of the work of Jean in quality and evaluation. And really from the start, 20 years ago, Jean has been focused on critical reflection about quality and evaluation, because you can't really have more global education without a focus on better global education. So actually Jean's first conference in London in 2003 was about quality and evaluation in global education. And so was Jean's first book, published in 2008. It was about quality, and it provided an overview of evaluation policy and practice, and you can access that book on Jean's website. And there are also various processes within Jean focusing on quality, and I would like to highlight one that's very relevant. That's the Jean peer review of global education, that really examines in depth the state of global education in a particular country. And now it has been conducted in 13 European countries. And the central purpose of this process is really to increase and improve quality global education in Europe. So while we don't use the term evaluation, it's really a very evaluative process. And you find all these peer reviews also on the Jean website. And another key process, obviously, is the awards with a clear focus on quality. So the idea behind it is to offer recognition for these inspiring quality practices, but also to share the learnings from the examples of quality global education with a view to promote more quality global education. So I would like to also call your attention to an interesting book which stemmed out of this award process and presents the results of reflection and research about quality in global education. So I don't know if you see it, but it's also available on Jean's website. And also for many years, Jean has also participated as a critical friend in a number of national processes of planning and evaluation. Okay, to give just a few examples among many, in Austria, Jean was involved with the development of the second national strategy. In Portugal, Jean accompanied the development of the first national strategy on development education, and also contributed greatly to the development of an evaluation framework for this strategy. In Slovakia, Jean was recently following the evaluation of a global education funding scheme. And now, as Estonia is developing a new development agency, Jean was also honored to enter this process of reflection about global education models for this new agency. And one thing that really emerged from all these processes is the difficulty in evaluating the quality of global education with the models we have. So through our work in quality and evaluation, Jean is aware of the critiques of evaluation models. It starts with the critique of the log frames and because the relationships between cause and effect, as we know in global education, are very complex. So they are non-linear. There is not a straight line from intervention to results. There's a lot of unpredictability. It's a long-term process. So there is really a wide gap between what global education wants to achieve and what is being evaluated. So Jean is continuing this work to improve quality in global education. And I would like also to take this opportunity to invite you for one event that we are holding next Thursday. We are going to deepen this reflection on quality and in particularly exploring models of evaluation and alternatives. And it will be along with the launch of a book on quality and evaluation as well. And it's a side event to the Angel Conference on Global Education. So just to conclude, what is for Jean at the heart of our understanding of quality? And I will just remind what Katka said at the very beginning. At the heart of quality is the Maastricht definition on global education with a strong focus on justice. The idea of interconnectedness of the global and the local, examples that may provide learning for other countries and inspiration, and participatory processes that engage learners and critical thinking of all those involved in these processes. So also to say that while we are committed to these core values, we are also about to embark on an 18-month process to reimagine the Maastricht Declaration 20 years after it was said. So we really hope that the examples that were shared today, as well as the work that Jean has been doing and will continue to do on quality and evaluation, will give others inspiration for more quality global education. Thank you very much.
In Ireland at the moment, we're doing a new strategic planning process, and we've been consulting very widely. And of course, the issue of quality is right at the core of our discussions. And this is very much a time of reflection for us. So it's fantastic to hear some of the great ideas, so many great ideas from across Europe, and it really is sparking a lot of new ideas for me. So I'd like to just start by commenting on the role of the Code of Good Practice. At the moment, in Irish Aid at the Department of Foreign Affairs, one of the key issues we want to look at is how we can increase our reach and expand the numbers of people we're engaging with in our new strategic plan, which we hope will start in the next few months. So we want to reach more people. People we're already working with, such as the teachers and educators, youth workers, community workers. But we also really want to bring global citizenship education to a broader audience, and engaging with communities perhaps who may be marginalized from mainstream education, as well as other groups such as the private sector. So we're looking at that kind of broad, and we're looking at how we can reach out further. Now, in our deliberations, we're being counselled, I suppose, by our partners in the sector, and we're very aware of this, of the risks of an over focus on reach and numbers. But of course, there are two different kind of conflicting risks in that. One, that we continue to deliver high quality global education. But only to a smaller number who maybe are, a more elite group, perhaps more more educated, more urban focused. But there's also the contrary risk of quality being compromised if we focus too much on numbers. So this is where the code comes in for us and why it's such an important contribution. Having the agreed kind of standard and definition across the sector is really so crucial for all of us who are active in the sector, including ourselves as donors. And over the coming years, we see it as serving as very much a lodestar for us as we work to increase the numbers of people who across Ireland who have access to quality development and development education. The second point I wanted to make was around the role of digital and online learning. We've been talking about it a lot. It's an issue that's concerning many of us. Many of us have been thrown into the deep end very much on all of this. In the last year, we've learned a lot. Most of us have learned pretty fast. And undoubtedly, digital learning can strengthen strengthen our reach, strengthen the numbers we engage with. We can reach out to new learners as well as connecting with the Global South. But we do need to be cognizant of the risks and the downsides in relation to the risks around quality. And what we're seeing is that a number of our partners, the reporting that's coming into us is reporting in some cases increased numbers, but that there have been some declines around quality learning outcomes. And I think that's something we need to very much keep in mind. And finally, I'd like to just take the opportunity to hark back a little bit to a previous winner of the Jean, a previous Irish winner. There's only been two Irish winners of the Global Education, the Jean Global Education Award in 2018, which was the Irish Aid supported Worldwide Global Schools programme for their Global Passports Award, which is basically all about supporting whole school approaches at post-primary level. So over the last number of years since that award, there's been a lot of progress, and close to 20% of post-primary schools now have the award. There's still room to increase that, of course, and there are 3 different levels to the award. And the award scheme has it's very much, we're looking at how we can adapt it now for other sectors, the post-primary or the primary sector, but also non-formal education and youth and adults. So I think that whole school or whole of institution approaches is very much, in many ways, the holy grail of quality in global education. So I hope that we can build on what's been achieved to date over the coming years. So there are my reflections. Thanks again to Jean, and congratulations again to all of the winners.
Once again, I would like to say congratulations to all the winning initiatives and projects. It's definitely well deserved, and I'm honored and delighted that I was given the opportunity to talk today for a few minutes about the elements of quality of global education, which we have identified during those GMP learning processes back at the end of March this year. So we have looked at all these nominated initiatives. We discussed how and in what aspects they reflected the quality in global education. What we have agreed on is that the variability of stakeholders involved and their active involvement and participation is truly important, as it provides a space for sharing different perspectives, ideas, as well as expertise. Therefore, we could say this element of collaboration and participation is one of the key parts of quality of global education. There's another relevant point, and which is also related, which is peer learning and networking. These aspects are relevant in a way that, in reflecting on our own ideas and activities, it helps us considering other points of view. Also, building networks of experts who deal with issues of global education is truly crucial for quality feedback, as well as sharing those experiences. Important is also to talk about pressing issues of our time and bringing more, let's say, educational elements to, for example, games for children, for young people. So this could be another way of showcasing the quality. We also discussed, for example, some of the smaller, maybe not so well-established NGOs might have not that well-developed skills in writing the project proposals, yet they might really, in reality, bring about a lot of value and results. This may be often hidden in their project application, so we need to dig deeper, and often only the policymakers might be able to identify this potential and slowly build on it. Additionally, the overall context is important, as well as other factors forming this sort of complexity of the project, how well the global education is already integrated at different levels, what kind of approaches are taken, what kind of actors are involved, what topic the project tackles and how, because what works in one environment doesn't necessarily work in another. And in our peer learning group, we have seen projects which might have been applicable in some countries, in some environments where the, let's say, history of global education is much longer than in the other. But again, it comes back to sharing those experiences among each other, identifying where we see space for improvement and quality in global education, and adapt it to our own conditions. Finally, the follow-up as well as sustainability are equally relevant. Therefore, embedding those results, integrating them at different levels is important and necessary, and ideally these projects should be more than just one-time activity. So just to wrap up, the main quality of global education elements we have identified could come down to involvement and variety of stakeholders, then peer learning and networking, collaboration, as well as complexity, and finally those follow-up activities and sustainability of implemented activities. And I believe that all these awarded projects, but also those who have been nominated themselves, really reflect this, and they will be or have been able to yield amazing results and will shape global education even further. So thanks to Jean, we have this platform for sharing these great initiatives among us, and for that we're truly grateful. So thanks so much to everyone at Jean, but also to other Jean members and participants today who continue to inspire and bring about the best practices in global education for all of us. Thanks.